Okay, so I felt like that with the release of Ghidra here recently by the NSA, that there've been a little bit of a lack of instructions on installing it and a lack of simple use for it on doing just a simple crackme. Although I did see a new video for that this morning, I believe, on the reversing subreddit. What we're going to start with today, we have a brand new, fresh install of Ubuntu 18.04. So just do show. Okay, Ubuntu 18.04. So we're going to go through install Ghidra, install VSCode so that we can effectively write Python. I just like that. I like that IDE for writing Python. And we're going to write a Keygen. So all of this to be covered in this episode. And by the way, if you see me take a drink, today's drink is Wise Monkeys by the Manhattan Project Beer Company. It's a strong Belgian ale. Very good, one of my favorites. So cheers, and let's get in. First thing we're going to need to do is go ahead and download Ghidra. We could do so by, oh great, it is fresh. Okay, we could do so by just Googling Ghidra NSA download. Good enough. Let's see what we got. And it looks like the actual URL is Ghidra-sre.org. So we can go download Ghidra. I'm going to go ahead and save that file. And I apologize for terrible internet speed here. It is what it is. I'm hoping that this video doesn't take too long, but wouldn't be surprised to see a solid 20-30 minute video here on this. A little bit about me while this is downloading. New to reverse engineering, know a little bit about C, know a little bit about Python, a little bit of assembly, Intel x86, 64. So, but never have really put all this together to actually start doing some reverse engineering. So we'll do a fun little crackme, super simple one. At least they label it as super simple. And we'll see what we can do here. So go ahead and open up the downloaded file. Let's extract that. I like to put it in the home folder. Okay, and as a fresh install, you may or may not know that Ghidra requires Java. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the folder where I've extracted this, and we'll go ahead and try to run it and see what the error message is for not having it. Okay, Java runtime not found. A good way to make sure that Java is set up, you can use the command java-version, and it will give you the actual commands that you need to do to install openjdk-r right there. So we can just highlight this and middle click, add a -y because I don't want to be prompted, although I don't think it did a -y. It just did the y, not dash. Okay. So we'll install this and let's see if it gets Ghidra up and working. Again, apologize for slow internet. If it takes too long, I may cut some of this out. And done. Okay. Let's try running Ghidra run again. Okay. We have to update our home directory. So, to do that, I'm going to Google it real quick. I've only done this one other time. Got it up and working. On another VM and haven't had to touch it since then. All right. Okay. So I'm going to cancel this. Okay, so we're back. We're going to see if this this works. I'm going to add a new repository. We're going to see if this gets us there, because I seem to remember on the other machine that I did have to add a repository to get this to actually work. There we go. This should bump us to version 11. I think that's what Ghidra was complaining about. I was on the wrong version. Although this says version 11, so who knows. Wow, that is saying 9 minutes. I tell you what, I'm going to stop again, come back, and we will continue. All right, so we're back. Magic of video editing. I have installed the JVM package from the new repository that I typed in earlier. So now let's go ahead and see if Ghidra will run for us. Lo and behold, we are to the user agreement. So we have made outstanding progress for 5 minutes in. It opens up some help files for you, some tips. And then the important part here is your active projects. Now, I like to, in the home directory, go ahead and create a Ghidra projects folder. The projects that you do not need to be in the same directory that the actual files that you're trying to disassemble live. So we will do a new project. It will be a non-shared project. And it's looking for the directory, so it is in our home directory, Ghidra projects. Select that project directory, and I don't remember what this one was. I think it was Yuri. It is the very first one when we go to search on crackmes. So having said that, let's go ahead and go get the crackme. The requirements around this crackme, which by the way the URL is crackmes.one. The requirements around this crackme are that we create a keygen, and I'm just going to do very easy, C or C++ in Unix, Linux. We create a keygen to break this specific crack. Okay, so we've got to write a keygen, understand the algorithm, and write a keygen for it. So that's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and save this file. And I like to have just a little folder up here that we can put the actual files we're going to exploit in. And the password for these, it's one of two from the website. It is crackmes.one or crackmes.de. So the specific one is crackmes.one. You don't need to be a member of the site to be able to download this, so keep that in mind. If you decide that you would like to do this and follow along, you can do so without signing up for a membership. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this bad boy in there. It tells me that it's an executable. It tells me that it's Linux x86. We're good to go. Okay, perfect. There's a few more items about it. It is compiled using GCC. It's got a main.c in there. All good stuff. Now, one thing that we didn't do is download and install VSCode. for writing our Python keygen. Super simple keygen. We'll do a 64-bit deb. In case I didn't mention it, this Ubuntu 18.04 VM is installed on a Windows OS, so Windows 10, using VirtualBox, installed Ubuntu 18.04. So while this is installing, it looks like it'll be over fairly quickly. Nice. Look at that. Doesn't that look sweet? I just think that as the source code for Ghidra is released, it is going to not only rival IDA, but I think it's actually going to get much better than IDA is. And IDA is going to have to change their business model to be able to compete, I think. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open a folder here, and we're going to go to where our file lives that we're wanting to exploit, simple keygen. As we pull that up, we've got that executable there, don't need the welcome. We're going to create our new file, keygen.py. When you do this, it's going to say that the Python extension is recommended for this file type. So we're going to go ahead and install that. It does this for us automatically, and it's installed. Now, linter pylint is not installed. Go ahead and install this. However, we're going to have a hiccup. Okay, no pip installer available for the selected environment. I can't remember if this uses Python 2.7 or Python 3.6. So what we will do is install pip for both. So sudo apt install python-pip python3-pip. We'll do a -y just so we don't have to answer anything. And here we go. Again, if this takes too long, I will cut away. It's not looking like it will, but you never know. My internet, man. Although, in fairness to AT&T, they are installing fiber up and down our streets, so it won't be long before I'll have actual legit internet here at the house, which I'm pretty excited about. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this to favorites just so it's there. After this is done, I'm going to go ahead and close that. Once this is done, we'll reopen it. Let it install the linter for us. And there we go. It looks like it's using Python 3, so glad we installed pip for that. Perfect. Okay, we've got our keygen.py here. We are ready to go. Okay, so I apologize. I got distracted there. I had to get pulled away. So let's go ahead and open the simple keygen file. Let's go ahead and analyze it. I just do the default analysis. I've seen that that's, so far for what I've done, has been more than sufficient. On the left-hand side up at the top, on program trees, I double-click the text tree, and then on the symbol tree here, I type in main. Double-click that bad boy, it'll take us to the main function. Okay, immediately it breaks us down to a C function over here on the right-hand side. It decompiles to that, which is just incredible, in my opinion. So, what are we looking at here? We're basically looking to see if we get something sent to us. It's a 0. This says that it's a good serial. Well, where does ivar1 come from? It comes from the function check serial. Okay, so what does So we're wanting a 0 to say that we have a good serial. So what does check serial do that we could get a 0 and then go and say that we're good? Let's double click check serial. Now we're opened up. Again, it breaks it down to a nice C function here. Undefined check serial. Okay, so it's looking for the size of svar1. Okay, so it wants the size to be this specific length. When you go to look, you can run a Python function. If you don't know what that length is, just type in int and that number right there, and it will tell you it needs to be 16. Okay, so basically we're looking right here. It has to be 16. Okay, so then it's going to set this to 0. Okay, so while this is true and the local variable here is less than this, we're going to get the int of one character minus the int of the next character, and so the subtraction of those two should equal -1. So this one should be one smaller than this one. And if so, then we're going to jump up 2. So we're going to start at 0 and 1. We're going to check 0 against 1, assuming that that subtracts out and equals -1. So 0 is the 0 character in the string is 1 less than the first character in the string. Then we're going to go forward 2. So we're going to go to the second character, which is the third character, base 0. So you're going to go to the third character and compare it now to the fourth character. So the third character should be 1 less than the fourth character. So on and so forth, while the length of this is greater than what the next one would be. So we get this, we return 0. If you remember from the main function, 0 is what gets us the good serial. Anything other than 0 gets us a bad serial. So let's get a new terminal. Let's go ahead and go where the crackme is. Okay, so we know it has to be 16 characters in length, right? And each character in sets of 2, the first character has to be 1 larger than the second character. So let's go 16 characters. That's 10 characters, okay? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, okay? If we've read this right, this should return a good key, and it is. Okay, well, all of those are in order. Let's do this in sets of 2, which is what we surmised, because all of those being in order, maybe there's a glitch somewhere that we are not accounting for, that is some use case scenario. So let's just randomly type things in. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have to be 1 apart. So this won't work, right? It's got to be AB. So that's 8, 9, 10. We'll do lowercase. 11, 12. G-H-I-J-K. Yeah, because math and letters. Okay, so that's 14, 15. Well, let's not do 2 that are together. Let's do, there we go. Let's do uppercase. Is that 16? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, this should be a good key. And we're there. Okay, so we've figured out what we're looking for inside of here using Ghidra. Now it's time to take what we're trying to do and put this into a Python script. Okay, so to do this, we're going to need random, because we need to be able to do just randomly generated strings, right? We don't want something that's just consecutive, because that would be boring, okay? And we're going to import string, because we're going to generate we're going to choose a random from the string and then generate the next, okay? So we have an available choices, and it is going to be string.ASCII letters, if I could type, and it will also be string digits. Okay, so that's our choices, our options that can be the first letter that we choose. It can be any ASCII letter, and it can be any digit. We're also going to want to set a counter here, and you'll see why here in just a second. So let's go ahead and make a function, Keygen. And inside this function, we're going to set the key as an empty string. Okay, so this is going to be the key that we output when all of this is said and done. And so while the length of the key is less than 16, because we're looking for a 16 character password, first letter is going to equal random dot choice of choices. Okay, so basically saying choose one of these random items. Okay, now the second letter is going to be the character that is the ordinal, okay, of the first letter plus 1. Basically saying take the ordinal of whatever we picked for the first letter plus 1 and turn that into a character. Okay, simple enough. And now we're going to add that to our key string, right? So let's use the 0 and 1 dot format, and it will be first letter and second letter. So basically what this is going to do is add in the first letter and the second letter to our key, and going to continue until key is equal to 16 characters in length. And when done, we're going to print our key. Now, this should give us a key that we can use. Okay, so let's save this and try it out. So from inside here, let's make sure that's there. Okay, Python Keygen. Oh, it helps if you actually call it. So we're going to call Keygen. Yes, you can do the if name equals main. You know, that's probably the more appropriate way to do it, but we're just doing some Python hacking. So, okay, here we go. We have a randomly generated key here. We're going to run simple keygen with that key. And to paste, I just used a middle click, and it's a good serial. Let's run the keygen again. It is a different, although they both started with MN, which is interesting. And we will run it against the new serial. Okay, so ends in capital S, capital T. Good serial as well. Well, this is where we added the counter, because I don't like just generating one serial and checking. That's not that fun, because it takes too many steps. So while x is less than 10, let's run keygen, okay, and then we're going to increment x by 1, okay. All right, now let's try to run that again. Boom, now we got 10 serials. Oh, look here. we have a colon after 9, which maybe is the ordinal 1. Let's try that. It was a good serial. Interesting. Right? We can run this again to see if we get any other random characters. Look at that right off the bat. We've got a curly bracket, square bracket, another curly bracket. Which one of these looks more interesting? This one looks a little more varied than the others. So let's try it. Okay, so there you go. We have cracked the simple Keygen problem by using Ghidra, looking mostly at the C code that was generated from within Ghidra. We didn't fully need to understand everything that was going on over here in the assembly language, although looking at the charts can help with diagramming where exactly your code flow is going. So this may be a good thing and a bad thing, because I could totally see me being someone who's new to reversing, completely looking at the C code and trying to break it down and not paying as much attention to the registers and what is going on over there, which by the time that I'm learning buffer overflows and items like that, this part becomes, in my opinion, way more important than what I would be looking at over here. So I've been following Live Overflow's YouTube instructional series, so I'm just now getting into the buffer overflows. So this is literally after just doing a few small videos, but I thought I would share the whole process and kind of a simple Keygen solution to one of the crackmes on there. Again, there are several more, so I will be jumping in and trying several of those. Love doing this, love this tool, and yeah, that's it. Okay, thank you guys, and until next time, we'll be seeing you later.